Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ben with Eretabe Gardens in Georgia Zone 7. I have a nice one for you. I've been asked this question before. How do I keep my fig cuttings from drying? You can be rooting your fig cuttings and you discover that from the top of your fig cuttings, it starts drying up. So how do you keep your fig cuttings from drying up while rooting it? Or drying up if you want to store your fig cuttings in the fridge before rooting it. Because sometimes you might be able to buy cuttings and you're not ready to root it immediately. And the top and the bottom of your fig cuttings are cut already. Sometimes maybe just the bottom is cut, but the top has the tip of the branch. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I seal my fig cutting from drying. And that is what this video is all about. How to seal your fig cuttings from drying. So let me show you guys how I do mine. There are various ways of sealing your fig cuttings from drying, but I'm going to show you how I do mine because this has worked for me. I've been doing this since 2019, the way I seal my fig cuttings from drying. So let me show you right away. All right. This is a ceramic container. I went to Goodwill thrift store to look for ceramic container. And why do I have to look for a ceramic container? Number one, ceramic can take heat. And I will need a microwave to use this ceramic container. So that's why I looked for ceramic container, because this was produced through heat. Ceramic can consume or can take heat. So I went to Goodwill thrift store to buy this one. And also while I was in Goodwill thrift store, I bought candle. And then when I got home, I put the big candle. It was big and long. I cut it into two and then put the half of that candle, put it in this ceramic and put it in the microwave for 3 minutes. And then after 3 minutes, I checked this container and I saw that the candle didn't melt well, so I added more minutes until it melted. This is the candle wax. Now, I bought this ceramic and the candle from Goodwill, and then I melted it. So every time I want to seal my fig cuttings, I put it in the microwave and put it 3 minutes. And after 3 minutes, when you look into this container, it will be liquid. And then I use it to seal my fig cuttings. So I'm going to show you how I melt this and how I seal my fig cuttings with candle wax. That is what I use. I use candle wax to seal my fig cuttings. Okay, here is my microwave, and I'm putting this in there. Close it, and then set 3 minutes. See it? You see? Now if I want it to melt more, I just put another 30 minutes. 30 seconds. Okay, this is 30 seconds. Look at the difference of 30 seconds. So now I'll take it out of the microwave and set it on the table. So be careful, it is hot. So you have to use something to hold it so it does not burn your fingers. So I'm going to get a glove and then take this out. Okay, now I've brought the candle wax now is liquid. You can see. And then what you want to do is make sure you write the names of the cuttings of that variety. This one is Oro Rosato. Look at the color of the cuttings. It is green and yellow, and that is the color of the fruit also. And this produces two crops, Briba and main crop, Oro Rosado. Now, this is the top of the cutting. You can see this is where a new growth. This is where the last leaf was that fell off. And this is where the new growth will spring from. When I start rooting it, you can see. So this is the top. This is how you know the top of the cutting. Always look for the small bud above where the old leaf fell off from. Look at it here too. That's where the new growth will spring from. So this is the top. So this is what I do. I put the top into the candle wax. You see that? And then if you are going to root it immediately, you don't have to put wax at the bottom. You don't. But if you are going to keep it for a while, if you're going to store it in the fridge, then you need to seal the bottom, because if not, it will dry. So I do the same thing with the bottom. I dip it in a little bit. Now, the reason why is not as much as the top. You can see the top is very wide. I covered it. The reason why I didn't cover the bottom part much is because when I'm ready to root this cutting, it's either I will cut off this candle wax area, or I will peel off this candle wax and then cut that part away so that the bottom part will be fresh when I nip this part of the candle wax off, so that when I'm rooting it, that bottom part is fresh. So I've done this. So I'm going to leave it here to dry. And then I'm going to do another one. Here is another cutting. The name is Black Zada. Black Zada. So all of them I've written. Here is another one, Black Zada. This is a long cutting that I cut into two. It has 4 nodes. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I cut it into 2. So one node will be in the soil, and one node will be above the soil. This is where the new growth will spring from. You see that small bud there? That is where the new growth. Now, let me show you the difference with the Oro Rosato. Look at it. It has 2 because it produces Briba. That's why it has 2 nodes, 2 buds at the top, one for leaf and one for Briba fig. So, but Black Zada supposed to produce Briba also. I think there's a small bud there. So it's 2, one for fig and one for leaf. You see, it's 2. So Black Zada produces 2 crops also. So now this is how you know the top You see, this is where the last leaf fell from. So above where the leaf fell off from is where the new growth will be. So that's why you know this side is the top and this side is the bottom. So now you have to be fast, but because this is video, if you look at the wax, you can see it has started drying up or thickening at the edges. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dip the top part. I dip it. I want it to, you see the length is very wide. So that way I know that this is the top, even if I don't even care to look at this. But with the size of the candle wax, I know this is the top. And then the bottom part, I dip it down a little bit. You see? Just a little bit compared to the top. The bottom, a little bit. So I can nib it when I'm ready to root it. So I don't have to cut so much. So this node here will be in the soil, and this node will be above the soil where the new growth will be. So I'm going to leave that one there. Okay, so I'm doing this on the bottom a little bit. So now I have to move fast because I don't want my candle wax to get cold, and then if it gets cold, I have to melt it again. So this is how I seal my candle wax from drying. My feet cuttings. So I use candle wax to seal my feet cuttings from drying. Okay, do this. You can see that the candle wax, you can see, is cooling off. So as it continues to cool off, it will be getting harder. So you want to do that. Now look at this cutting. It's very long. So it's a cutting I can cut into two because it's very long. So I'm going to put this away. When I'm done with these cuttings, then I can see this cutting. You see, it's not well lignified. This might make it and this might not make it, but the seller have sold it. So I'm going to store it in the fridge. The bottom part, just put it just a little bit, just to keep the bottom part from drying. Then when I'm ready to use it, I cut the bottom part. Okay, this one is Super Red Hybrid. Super Red Hybrid. Okay, dip this. Just put it a little bit to cover the bottom part. And then look at this log. This is red Siam. This is the log. Woo! This one is thick. Okay, so I'm going to dip this. And then the bottom part, I'm just going to dip it a little bit just to cover the bottom part. So this is how I seal my feed cuttings from drying up. You see, look at the wax itself. It's getting cold. So as it's getting cold, it's getting harder. So look at it. You see? I leave them to dry. You see, with this, I didn't put any candle wax at the top. I didn't. Because there will be new growth from that tip. So I didn't. That white color is from the seller. I think the seller tried to, I don't know what the seller put there. You see, that is where the new growth will be coming from. So I only dip the bottom into candle wax, and then when I'm ready to root it, I will just cut this part away. So you let it dry so that it will not break off easily. If you don't let it dry very well, it will break off. So this is how I seal my feed cuttings from drying. So thank you for watching this video. Please like this video, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell and click on all, so that every time I upload new video, you will be notified. Thank you so much, and God bless you real good. See you in my next video. Bye.